Alright, I said I was going to make a video on polynomial long division done the Brazilian style. I obviously have no idea what I'm doing here. I'm basing this entirely off of the work of the student who showed me how number long division is done in Brazil. So it's possible every other Brazilian student is going to say, no, what are you talking about? Blame your friend in third period. What we're doing in this problem is we are dividing 6x cubed minus 7x squared minus 8x minus 9. We're dividing that by 2x minus 1. My understanding is this is how we set up the problem, and our quotient, our answer, we're going to write down here. Our first step is we have to compare the leading term on the left with the leading term on the right. 6x cubed on the left and 2x minus 1 on the right. By compare, I mean we have to think about what do I need to multiply 2x by to make 6x cubed. I have to multiply the 2 by a 3 to make 6, and I have to multiply x by x squared to make 6x cubed. If I do 2x times 3x squared, I will get 6x cubed. Now I actually do the multiplication. I'm going to do 2x times 3x squared and get 6x cubed. These two should match. If they don't, I did something very, very wrong. And I'm going to do 3x squared times minus 1 and get minus 3x squared. I take, whoops, I'm just losing everything. I take this now and I do subtraction. I need to do minus this whole thing. Sometimes instead of doing minus the whole thing, I change the signs and I add. First I'll explain how I do minus the whole thing. I would do 6x cubed minus 6x cubed and get 0, which usually I don't even write the 0 because I don't need to. And I do minus 7x squared minus negative 3. Negative 7 minus negative 3, that's like negative 7 plus 3. So negative 7x squared plus 3x squared would make negative 4x squared. Sometimes it's easy to forget to do the minuses and distributing, so instead what I do is I just change all of the signs. I change this to a minus, I change this to a plus. Every minus I change this into a plus, every plus changes into a minus, and then instead of subtraction I just add, because then I don't need to think about distributing negatives. This will add up to 0, so I don't need to worry about that. And negative 7x squared plus 3x squared will make negative 4x squared. Either way I get negative 4x squared. Just this way I don't forget about distributing. Next I bring down this term, minus 8x, and I repeat the process. Again I'm going to compare the leading thing on the left with the leading thing, oops, I'm mixing my left and right. The leading thing on the right with the leading thing on the left. This time it's 2x and negative 4x squared. And I think, what do I need to multiply 2x by to make negative 4x squared? Well, I need to definitely multiply by a negative 2 to turn 2x into negative 4 or something. I need to multiply by an x to turn x into x squared. Multiplying by negative 2x will make negative 4x squared. So I do the multiplication. I multiply both things on top by negative 2x. I get 2x times negative 2x will make negative 4x squared. Good thing those match, because if they didn't, I did something wrong. And negative 1 times negative 2x makes plus 2x. And I do the subtraction. I either subtract the whole thing, or I change the signs. Change this to a plus, change this to a minus, and I add. Adding negative 4x squared and positive 4x squared cancels out. Negative 8x, negative 2x is going to make negative 10x. Either I do negative 8 plus, negative 8 plus negative 2, or do negative 8 plus 2 minus plus 2. Either way I get negative 10x. I bring down the next guy, or girl, and repeat. We'll do red now. I think to myself, what do I need to multiply 2x by to make negative 10x? Well, the answer is negative 5. No x's, because I already have x to the first, x to the first. Negative 5 is when you multiply by. And then I do the multiplication. I do negative 5 times the 2x and get negative 10x. And I do negative 5 times the negative 1 and get plus 5. I do the top line minus the bottom line, or I distribute the minus by just changing all the signs. Change this to a plus, change this to a minus, and then I add. Negative 10x and plus 10x cancel, negative 9 and negative 5 make negative 14. And I've already brought everything down, so that negative 14 is my remainder, which if my sources are right, the Portuguese for that would be something like resto. I take that remainder. That remainder represents how much still needs to be divided by 2x minus 1. So I take it and I write it over 2x minus 1. That would be the answer to this problem. What I'm circling in rainbow would be what you should put on your paper in the answer section. That is the answer to this problem. We'll do another one, hopefully a little bit faster. This problem, I'm doing 4x cubed minus 13x squared minus 4, and I'm dividing by x squared minus 3x minus 4. This is a trick problem. I have a x to the third, x to the second. There needs to be an x to the first in there. It's missing one, so I'm going to put plus 0x to kind of hold that spot. Now how I'm going to do this problem is I'll write my answer down here. First I think about what do I need to multiply x squared by to make 4x cubed. The answer to that is 4x. I do the multiplication. 4x times x squared makes 4x cubed. 4x times negative 3x makes negative 12x squared. 4x times minus 4 makes negative 16. I do the top line minus the bottom. This time I'm just going to subtract. I'm not going to distribute the minus. Some people find it easier one way, some people find it another. 4x cubed minus 4x cubed cancels. Wonderful. If it didn't, I did something wrong. Negative 13x squared minus negative 12. That's like plus 12. So it makes minus 1x squared. 0 minus negative 16. That's like 0 plus 16. So I get plus, whoops, this should have been x, plus 16x. I caught that should have been x because everything should line up correctly. I bring down the next term. Now I'm thinking to myself, what do I need to multiply x squared by to make negative x squared? Well, that's just going to be negative 1. So the thing I write down here is negative 1, and I multiply everything up here by negative 1. I get negative x squared plus 3x plus 4. I do the top line minus the bottom line. Negative x squared minus negative x squared will cancel. 16x minus 3x makes 13x. Negative 4 minus negative 4 makes negative 8. There's nothing left to bring down, so that is my remainder. That is what I'm going to write over here. Still needing to be divided by x squared minus 3x minus 4. What I'm circling in rainbow would be my final answer. I hope this helps. If nothing else, it's good 2 extra problem examples to see.